organization. I remember a number of years ago, I was actually at an Apapa event in Sacramento, and CCN, who he graciously basically allowed everybody to attend the event. It was a lot of elected officials, and the goal was to build community. And I remember it because it was catered by McDonald's, right? And so I have never seen that many cheeseburgers lined up, right? And so I just really kind of want to start why this organization is so important and why I'm here. So I'm your state senator for this district in the Fremont area. My name is Dr. Aisha Wahab, and I am very proud to be able to represent you guys. In fact, I grew up in Fremont, right? So Fremont is home to so many of us, and it continues to grow and it continues to become more and more diverse, and the reality is that we are one community. And as we are one community, oftentimes we forget how we started. And you know, CCN in particular, I really want to give him kudos because him and our state treasurer, Fiona Ma, are actually the ones that really thought about this, of how to get more Asians involved, Asian Americans across the board. And I often joke, if you take a look around, it's very much East Asian, but they have actually been working more and more to expand that and include more and more people. And so I want to thank the Yin family, Mary and Regina as well. In fact, I've actually bumped into CC when he's taking his granddaughters shopping at the Great Mall. So, you know, even though he's in Sacramento, he does come by every now and then. And this largely started to get more and more people involved. And I will say that I'm the vice chair of the Asian American Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus. And one of our goals is also to get more Asian community members involved and advocate for their needs. So when we talk about the Asian community in particular, I often have to remind people that we all come here with a different story. Some of us come here with a job lined up, a green card ready, you know, funding and much more. Others also escaped war and trauma, and some just want economic opportunity, right? And so we have to realize that when we are talking about our community as a whole. Many of us chose, if not us, our families chose to make Fremont home, make the Bay Area home. And if we take a look, the Bay Area is one of the best places to grow up because of how diverse it is. The diversity, if you guys see in the federal news, I think it's a blessing, but some people are trying to make it a negative, right? And the reality is we need more organizations like Apapa to uplift communities. And what you guys are doing, you know, with our graduating interns, I want to highlight how important it is to just expose yourself to different opportunities that you guys would never ever see if you did not put yourself out there, if you did not try to do better. You know, oftentimes we have family members that keep pushing us, or parents that keep pushing us to do this, get into a good school. But the reality is, even though there's a lot of pressure, the benefit in the long run is extremely positive. The reality is that the more you expose yourself, the more experience you have through these internships, the more people you meet and your network grows. And at the same time, you are able to actually understand what you like and what you don't like, right? And you know, public service, for example, is not necessarily everyone's calling. Becoming a doctor is not necessarily everybody's calling. But the reality is you wouldn't know unless you tried, right? And so it's really, really good to expose yourself and to have big dreams. Here in this country, literally the sky is the limit. You can start your own business, you can become a doctor, you can start your own profession, your own, pretty much anything. You could be a content creator, an influencer, whatever you choose. And so I really want to thank Apapa for really just helping the youth get involved in civic engagement. I know many of you guys intern with community members. In fact, I think some of you guys may have interned with our mayor of Fremont, Raj Salwan. I think some of you guys interned with some other offices. I know I have an intern here as well, and it's incredibly important to be able to go to these functions, because how often do we go to these functions, right, with our families? And to the parents and families here, you've played a crucial part in raising upstanding citizens at the end of the day. And it really does take a family to raise a strong, independent thinker and raise somebody that is contributing to society. And that's the goal for so many of us. In fact, when I travel around the world, it's always very impressive to see how much family does influence an individual, does uplift a community, and much more. So, to the interns, I just want to say we are honoring you for stepping up. This is going to look great on your resume, but the reality is that you're actually going to live with this for the rest of your life. You're going to be able to see what impact this has, and you've also sat in offices where decisions are made. You've seen how policy is shaped, and you've seen the courage it takes to participate. You've gained skills that will stay with you for a lifetime, and the confidence to speak up, even if you are a little shy, even if your voice cracks. It does not matter. The whole goal is to speak up and share your honest truth. And I'm sure some of you guys probably sat in meetings, and you may have disagreed with the outcome of that meeting. You guys may have thought that you guys probably have a better decision, or thought that something else should have happened. And that is exactly what you should really consider. Because if you are thinking openly and critically, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. And so it really requires and highlights why it's so important to have a seat at the table. To be able to present what your community, what your thoughts are. And so your voice matters significantly. And I want to highlight even this. The work that we do in Sacramento is not a diverse place. You would go into the building, it is not diverse. It is not as diverse as today. It's one of the biggest frustrations I have. And our API Legislative Caucus, I believe that there's only 2 senators that are Democrats and 1 that is a Republican. 40 individuals. It really just highlights the need to step up. We actually supported a bill that is directly an issue for our community. For example, when you own a business, you have to have ADA compliance, which basically says that somebody should be able to have a wheelchair and come in through the door, shop, do whatever the case may be. And what we've been seeing in this district and throughout the Bay Area is that there are lawyers that are specifically targeting Asian businesses, suing them, saying you are not compliant. And we have seen this across the board. And what we try to do is say that, yes, we want to make sure our disabled community members feel welcomed into a business, can use the ADA accessibility and much more. But we also want to give those small businesses who may not even know the rules an opportunity to fix the problem in their own business. Their intention is not to do harm. They just may not know. And so instead of having so many of these specific ethnic communities targeted, our goal was to make sure that they are able to fix the issue and then resolve the problem before they are hit with a massive lawsuit unnecessarily. What I try to push the most is fairness. Because people, again, don't realize this was a law or this was an issue or this is a concern until it's too late sometimes. And so, my ultimate goal when I am in these circles is really just to listen and be fair and try to have the best outcome for all parties. And that's what you guys learned in this program. And so these conversations matter, these relationships that you guys have built, not only with the other interns, but with some of the mentors that you guys see in this room. These are the seeds of leadership. It's the seeds of your life when you guys are applying for college and more. And so I will tell you that if I had an organization like Apapa growing up, I think that it would help me significantly. As an Afghan American, as a minority amongst minorities, as I like to joke, a lot of people don't understand our background, don't understand what we're dealing with, and don't understand how to help us, right? And so I really, again, just want to thank Apapa for being there, for being an organization with a vision, and a long-term vision, not a short-term vision. The fact that the internship is a long internship, the fact that you guys are networking with each other, collaborating with each other, it is incredibly important. And so with that, I really just want to tell all of you guys to take a look around the room. If you guys look around the room, this is your community. These are going to be friends that you guys will know for years to come. These are going to be people you rely on. People that you could potentially get a job from. People that you could get another internship from. And so today, you join a legacy of young leaders who will shape the future of California. You guys are the young leaders that are going to lead this country forward. And we need that. We need that more now than ever before. And so it's my honor to recognize each of you with a certificate, not just as a symbol of what you guys have accomplished, but also as an encouragement for what lies ahead. Because again, sky's the limit for you all. And so I want you guys to remember this, and remember that there were people here that invested in you guys, spent time with you guys, and tried to help you guys. Whether you see it today or you're going to see it in 10 years. And to pay that forward. So thank you so much. Thank you, Apapa, for having me. And I really just want to say congratulations to all the graduates.